Hi guys, it's Miss Tylee here. I hope that you guys are doing really well. Welcome to day one of reading online. I will be reading to all of first grade. Hello Mrs. Randall's class, hello Mrs. Daverstein's class, and hello Mrs. Moore's class. And big shout out to my class as well. Every day this week, you will be listening to a story that I read to you. And then there will be questions on the Google form that you will answer as well. So make sure that you are listening to these stories. I promise you these are some of my favorite stories. Our weekly study, all these books are going to be called folk tales, okay? And a folk tale is a genre of books that are told from story to story for years and years and years to come. And so your grandma might have heard of this book. Your great-grandma might have heard of this book. Your great-great-great-great-great-grandma might have heard of this book. These stories are simply really, really old and told over and over and over again. So this story that we have is called Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile. And the title pretty much tells us who our main characters are going to be. It's going to be Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile. And one thing I like about this book is this story was not told in America. It was told in a continent called Africa. And in Africa, there's a little city, a little country, and that is Liberia. So this story has made its way all the way from across the world to be told here, and we have it in a book form. So I will be reading today Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile. And as I read, I want you to listen to what the problem is, how it gets solved, and what lesson do you think they're trying to be told here, okay? So, Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile. It's kind of a glare, but it's okay. All right, one morning, Mrs. Chicken took her bath in a puddle. "Cluck, cluck," she said proudly. "What a pretty chicken I am. Big, bright eyes, short, smooth beak. But I can't see my wings. This puddle is too small." When you look in a mirror, when you look in a puddle, you're trying to see yourself, right? Your reflection. So that is what she's trying to do. But her puddle is too small. So she walked down the river to get a better look. She didn't know that Crocodile lay in the river all day long waiting for her dinner. Mrs. Chicken leaned over the water. She said. "I still can't see my wings. I see scaly green legs and a long mouth with sharp teeth. But where is my beak?" Crocodile lay very still and waited. "Yum, yum," she thought. "That's my dinner." So here we have the water, and when Chicken looks at the reflection, she sees the crocodile. What do you think is going to happen? We're going to read and find out. "I look different in the river," said Mrs. Chicken. She turned to one side. Crocodile did the same. Mrs. Chicken turned to the other side. So did Crocodile. "I'd like to take a closer look," said Mrs. Chicken. She stepped into the river. And what do you think's gonna happen? Snap! Crocodile grabbed Mrs. Chicken's foot in her mouth. "Bonk!" Bonk, bonk, said Mrs. Chicken. "Let go!" Crocodile shook her head. She dragged Mrs. Chicken to her house on the island in the middle of the river. Then she slammed the door shut with her tail and opened her mouth. Mrs. Chicken flew up to the rafters. "Come down," Crocodile said. "I'm going to eat you up." "Me?" Mrs. Chicken squawked. "You can't eat me." "Oh, yes I can," said Crocodile. "But," said Mrs. Chicken, you shouldn't eat me." "Why not?" asked Crocodile. "Because," said Mrs. Chicken, "I'm your sister." Ha ha ha, Crocodile laughed. You're not my sister. You have speckled feathers. I have green skin. You have a beak. I have a mouth with sharp teeth. And these teeth are going to eat you up. No, said Mrs. Chicken. We look different, but we're sisters. I'll prove it. Just give me some time. How do you think she's going to prove that they're sisters? They clearly do not look alike. All right, chuckled Crocodile. I'll fatten you up. The longer I wait, the plumper you'll get. Crocodile yawned and curled around her eggs. Soon she was snoring. Mrs. Chicken made a nest in the corner, opposite the crocodile, and settled down to lay her own eggs. Every day, Crocodile gave Mrs. Chicken grain to eat. Every night, they fell asleep over their eggs. Mrs. Chicken got fatter and fatter. Crocodile got thinner and thinner. This is the best part. One evening, Crocodile said, "This is your last meal. Tomorrow you will be my big dinner." "We'll see," said Mrs. Chicken. She waited until Crocodile was sleeping. Then she carefully put her eggs next to Crocodile. She took Crocodile's eggs to her own nest. Why do you think Mrs. Chicken is switching their eggs? Just before dawn, Crocodile felt something move beside her. "Mrs. Chicken," she called, "wake up! My babies are hatching." But why do they have those silly little beaks and scrawny little wings? They look like you. "My eggs are hatching too," said Mrs. Chicken. "Look!" She stepped off her nest. "Oh," said Crocodile, "what beautiful babies you have! What gorgeous green skin! What lovely long mouths! What darlings! In fact, they look like me." "And your babies look like me," said Mrs. Chicken. "I told you we were sisters. You almost ate me, your own sister." "I'm really sorry, Sister Chicken," said Crocodile. "I have an idea," said Mrs. Chicken. "Since you like my babies so much, you can have them. I'll take your funny-looking babies instead." "Oh, thank you, Sister Chicken," said Crocodile. "Don't mention it," said Mrs. Chicken. "Sisters help one another." So they switched babies. "Bye-bye, sister," Crocodile said. Mrs. Chicken waved her wing and hurried her chicks up the riverbank. "See you soon," called Crocodile. "No, you won't," called Mrs. Chicken as she disappeared through the tree. "Come along, children." Cluck, cluck, cluck. Since that day, Mrs. Chicken and her children have never gone near the river, and they always take their baths in puddles. "Big enough for us," Mrs. Chicken tells her children, "and much too small for crocodiles." That is the end of the famous folktale, Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile. So, I like this story for a lot of different reasons. I like how Mrs. Chicken tricked the crocodile, and the crocodile fell for it. So, we could say that the crocodile is very strong, and we can say that Mrs. Chicken is very clever, right? Clever means to use your brain and think, think, think. So now, since you've listened to the story, you're going to go back into Google Classroom and you're going to take the quiz of Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile. So, bye guys!